Greetings and welcome to this month's installment of Our Schools Monthly, the video magazine that takes you into the schools in the Port Huron Area District to show you what's happening with our students. On today's program, we have a number of things that we'd like to share with you, so we're going to cut right to the chase. We're going to talk a little bit about bicycle safety with Mr. Chuck Meeker. We're going to have the Quiz Bowl team members from Port Huron Northern come on and show you how Quiz Bowl is played and then share with you the outstanding results they experienced at Dan DeGrow's Quiz Bowl competition held in March. We're going to talk to Mr. Tom Telfer from Garfield Elementary about their science fair and science fairs that take place throughout the district. And finally, we're going to talk with Martha Navarro from the district offices, who's going to share with us information about Kindergarten Roundup. So stay tuned. There's a lot of information for you in today's program as we bring you Our Schools Monthly. With me now in the studio are members of Port Huron Northern's Quiz Bowl team who recently took first place in the Class AB division of Senator Dan DeGrow's District Quiz Bowl competition held March 7th at SC4. In order to give you an idea of how Quiz Bowl operates, we're going to play a little mock round, and these volunteers, who represent only some of the membership of this Quiz Bowl team, are going to answer some questions about the Port Huron Area School District. Now, this isn't exactly the way Quiz Bowl is played, but you'll get the idea. So, players, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start these questions. Toss-up question. How many elementary schools are there in the Port Huron Area School District? Number 4?
13.
That is correct. Good, excellent. We can applaud. Okay, bonus question for the team. What company formerly occupied our current administration building on Lapeer Avenue?
Mueller Brass.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I think, yeah.
Captain?
Mueller Brass.
Mueller Brass is correct. Excellent. Toss-up question for all players. Who are the current 2 curriculum directors at Port Huron Northern? Number 4?
Mr. Runner and Mrs. Allen.
That is correct, and you are becoming the most valuable player on this team today. Bonus question for the group. Name 3 of the 4 middle school principals in Port Huron Area School District.
Mr.
Dunn.
Pocadillo, Mr. Dunn, and no white. No white. What about
I'm out on this one.
No, it's from Chippewa Central.
Time. Captain, I need your answer.
Mr. Pocadillo, Mr. Dunn, and Mr. Smith.
You're close, but Smith and Pocadillo are gone. It is Mr. Dunn, Mr. Burnell, Mr. Woline, and now Mrs. Ecker at Central. Toss-up for all team members. Who are the greatest rivals of the Huskies in town? Number 1.
Port Huron High Big Reds.
That is correct, and we all know that answer. So let's have a bonus question for the team. What are the first and last names of our superintendent and assistant superintendent?
William Kimball and Tom Miller.
Seriously?
Yeah.
William Kimball and Tom Miller.
That is correct, and you're just leaping ahead of the competition. So let's take another toss-up question. What is the symbol of Port Huron South? Number 3?
Eagles?
That is correct, which we know from the Port Huron South Eagles Investment Club as well. Bonus question for the team. What award-winning TV studio is owned and operated by our district?
CPHS 6.
Oh, yeah. Probably there.
That's right.
CPHS 6.
That is correct. And now for our last toss-up question. Which elementary schools are at the farthest north and south locations in our district? Number 2?
Keewatin and Cleveland?
No, that's not exactly correct. Anyone else? Yes?
Keewatin and Michigami.
No, I'm sorry. Anyone else?
Oh.
Okay, throughout our whole district, the farthest north and south are Lakeport Elementary and Cleveland Elementary. So you don't get the bonus question, but we'll run it by you just in case. When does the Board of Education regularly meet? It's a bonus.
Oh, once a month, I think.
Yeah.
Once a month.
But the question isn't the frequency, the question is when.
Oh,
The
I have to
first-
make a presentation the 20th of April in front of the school board.
So like the third
So
Monday?
make it a.
That's a good answer, thank you. You are right. This is the third Monday. Very good. So at this time, I'm going to invite the other team members from Port Huron Northern's Quiz Bowl team to join us on camera. If you just kindly quickly step up here. So those of you at home can see that we have a rather large team, and even though only 4 play at a time, They do take turns rotating in and out, and I believe that you have a system of points too, don't you, that determines who gets to play? It's like first string, second string in some sports?
Well, roughly. Whoever's really doing good is usually put on the first group of people, and then we usually try to find out who's really running hot in the practices. But sometimes we don't always go by that too. Sometimes it's just who's doing good in the games.
And are there any changes during competition?
Yeah.
Um,
Timeouts.
Yeah, our teacher has 2 timeouts. Dr. J is our coach.
Okay, now, people at home don't know who Dr. J is. They're gonna
Dr.
think of-
Johnston is our
Okay.
advisor, quiz bowl coach at Northern, and he uses his 2 timeouts to try to shake up what we're doing. If we're not doing so good, he'll bring in other people, and then he'll also take and tell us to slow down sometimes.
Okay, what was the best part of winning the district competition? Let me rephrase that. What was the most tense moment in the competition? Was there one? Or a time when you went, oh, why did I give that answer?
Well, at the end of the first match we were in front of the camera, it was Lapeer West. We were all
Yeah.
slightly stressed out because we were only up by a little bit, and we had got so many wrong that we'd lost many of our points. We get 5 off for every wrong answer, so we weren't doing too good. And we were looking at the score, we were only 15 up, and saying to each other, okay, we got to slow down, think this through, and try to do better next round.
And each game that you play has 3 rounds. So that was the first round, and then you came back to win?
Well, in the DeGros, we have 2 rounds of
Okay.
15 minutes apiece. And so that was after the first 15 minutes.
In normal competition, we have 3 rounds, 10 minutes.
Okay, normal competition, we have to speak a little louder for the microphone over here. 3 rounds normally?
Yes.
And in competition, how many rounds, how long are the rounds in the competition for Dan DeGros?
15
minutes.
15 minutes, okay. Good, okay, so, anybody have anything else they'd like to add to information about Quiz Bowl competition? Joining us now on the set, too, is Coach Johnston, the coach for Quiz Bowl at Port Huron Northern. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
We're very happy to have everyone here. At this time, we'd like to give all the players an opportunity to introduce themselves to you, the viewers at home. So,
Hi, my name is Kim Voitos.
Annika Howe,
Rajiv John.
Scott Jameson.
Meredith Whipple, Maria Damashki,
Ian Renner.
Jessica Shagney,
Lena Damashki.
Scott Onwake.
Eric Dan.
Shad Hansel.
and those are our players. At this time, since we did not have a chance to film the actual awarding of the trophy, we'd like to take this opportunity to share with the viewers at home the presentation of the first place trophy to Port Huron Northern High School for the District Quiz Bowl Tournament, Dan DeGros competition, which was held at SC4. Congratulations, Coach.
Thank you
and
very
to the
much.
team members. We really appreciate having you all here. Thanks very much. Joining me now in the studio is Mr. Chuck Meeker, the Health Education Coordinator for the Port Huron Area School District, and Trevor Banka, who is a student at Port Huron Northern. Welcome to Our Schools Monthly.
Thanks, Ken.
Nice to have you here. Mr. Meeker, I understand that you're involved in an event that's coming up in May, and you're here to tell us a little bit about it.
That's right, Ken. In the beginning of May, we're going to be doing a Bicycle Helmet Safety Week in the school district, and we're going to be promoting the idea of kids wearing bicycle helmets. And Trevor is going to be our honorary chairperson for this event this year. This is the first time we've done this, and we're trying to have parents become aware of the importance of wearing helmets and also for their kids. And we'd like the parents to wear the helmets as well to act as a role model. We feel there are a lot of injuries that could be averted by young children wearing their helmets. In fact, Trevor, as our chairperson, is going to be doing some really unique kinds of things this summer, and perhaps I can have Trevor have you tell a little bit about that.
Great.
Well, thanks. This summer, I'll be taking a bike trip from Seattle, Washington to Washington, D.C. It's in benefit for the American Lung Association, where we hope to raise about $8 million for the Lung Association, where that's what they will gross. And we will be, while we ride, everyone will be wearing a helmet for their safety. All 1,000 people are required to wear the helmet, and they all are certified also.
So these people are going to have pledges from individuals along the way?
Yep. It's required that you raise at least $6,000 per person to do the ride.
And then, as I understand it, you're not going to do all these miles in one day, of course. It's going to take you how long to accomplish this?
We'll do this in about 6.5 weeks, where we average about 85 miles per day, and our longest day is about 118 miles.
And then you go from one destination to another, and they pretty much got it all set up for you?
Yeah, they have certain locations where we'll stop. We'll stay in farmers' fields, campgrounds, and 2 nights we get to stay in college dorms.
Okay, now a real interesting question for you. What's the farthest you've ever pedaled in one day before?
I pedal about 110 miles
Oh,
per
so
day.
that's not going to be a real difficult thing for you then.
It'll be rough, but
Except every day for 6.5 weeks.
Right.
That's the difference. Are you looking forward to it?
yeah, I really am.
And what do you have to take along?
You have to take along all your own supplies, your tent, your bicycle, all your sleeping gear, and your clothes. But they'll supply all your food except lunches.
And most of those heavier things will be transported from location to location?
Yeah, they
You don't
have-
have
they
to
have-
carry them on your bike?
No, they have buses that'll take them, and they have shower wagons for us. But we have to carry our rain gear and our lunch and identification and wallet.
I think you'll make an excellent honorary chairperson. Anybody who's going to cover that many miles on a bicycle with a helmet on is definitely a good candidate.
And that's why we asked Trevor to do that, because as a high school student, he certainly can act as a role model for the young elementary students, and that's who we're focusing on. We really would like to see every child in the Port Huron Area School District be able to wear a helmet. And by saying we, I mean groups like the Boy Scouts and the Girl Scouts, the Port Huron Hospital Foundation, the Police Department, the Sheriff's Department, the Times-Herald, the Senator DeGroo's office have all been working for a year trying to put this together. We have our little character down here who happens to be our symbol for the Bicycle Helmet Safety Week, and he's just recently been named. His name is Be Safe.
Oh,
And so we'll be having posters with Be Safe on it. We've got some stickers and a variety of things. We'll also have curriculum materials for the teachers to use in the classroom. And we have a whole series of events slated, beginning with Sunday the 3rd and finishing with Saturday the 9th for Bike Rodeo out at Sawmill City.
great. Well, I know that these helmets that are here were helmets that came earlier in the school year, and all of the elementary schools have a sample of these helmets on hand so
Yes.
that kids can see what they look like. And I think we even have a picture that we can share with our audience at home of the principals showing those helmets in their hands, and maybe one or two of them have them on. We certainly know with springtime coming and warmer weather, we're going to have people getting out, children riding their bicycles, and we'd like to encourage everyone to know that bicycle safety is an important feature. Thanks very much for being with us today, and whatever we can do to help spread the word, we'd like to, because we want our children to be safe. So thanks for sharing with us, and remember, parents, if your kids are going to be on bikes, let's keep them safe. Think about helmets and help us model safety for our kids. Since so many Quiz Bowl questions are based on math and science, we thought this would be an appropriate time to talk about the science fairs that take place throughout our district in the spring. Joining me on the show today is Mr. Tom Telfor, who is a teacher at Garfield Elementary, and he's going to share with us the results of Garfield's Elementary Science Fair, which was held recently. Welcome to our show, Tom.
Thank you very much.
So I understand that in the last little while you've had a science fair at Garfield. How did it go?
It went very well, thank you. This is my 4th year being involved with Garfield's Science Fair, and it's just I have a tremendous group of a Science Fair committee that helps us out. There's Marilyn Abernathy, Sharon Whiting has helped us out a number of years. Candy Hayes and Mary Jo Etzen are the main focus, and then there's a number of other staff that also come in and help us out, set this up. This year we had over 100 entries, which was tremendous. We've had as many as 125 in the last 4 years. Every year we pick a theme for our students to follow through on, and this year's theme was All Aboard for the Science Fair. We had a representative from Lionel Trains come in, and he set up like a 15 by 9 foot table of
It was a wonderful
trains.
train display.
It was just outstanding, and he set up hands-on activities for the kids to get involved with the train display itself. It was just a very big night for all the friends and family at Garfield School.
Well, I noticed the gym was no longer a gym. It was festooned with banners and pennants and tables of displays everywhere and all kinds of projects. One question, what grade levels participated?
Okay, at Garfield School we open it up to all grade levels, so you'll see some kindergarten projects all the way through 5th grade. At the upper elementary level, it's pretty much a mandatory thing. I teach all the sciences at 5th grade, and it is mandatory for all my 5th graders to get involved. I think it's a good thing for them to learn to go through the scientific process and have a lot of fun with science. That's what science is all about, and discover something new that they never knew about in a certain area in science. So, but it'll range. We had a lot of group projects from, I know my class in particular did a group project with a kindergarten class, Mrs. Mackey's.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And right now we're tying it in with our Rainforest for Reading Month, and so we did a real neat-looking mural that dealt with the rainforest and looked at the different levels of the rainforest, and it was amazing amazing the amount that the students walked away learning, both at the kindergarten and 5th grade level.
Did any of the students learn something that they didn't think they would learn as they were going through this project, and kind of have one of those, oh my gosh, kind of?
Yes, many of them did, because each of them had to develop a hypothesis and kind of have an educated guess of where they thought their project was going. And it was amazing how many of them at the end said, boy, I didn't think it was, this was going to be the end results of it. There was one in particular I can think of that someone did a test on the different batteries that were out there, and they were amazed at the one that they found that was the longest lasting battery out of the batteries
And
they
we
tested.
won't share brand names.
I wasn't going to give you the brand name, but and actually 2 of them did that same test, and it was amazing that both of them came with the same exact results.
The one that really caught my eye was the science experiment where they removed the outer shell of an egg without breaking the shell. They just kind of let the acid eat away at it. And I thought that was really interesting. I'd never
Right.
seen that before.
And I think that was even at a 3rd grade level, which was just amazing. The students are just really thinking in terms of science at a higher level, and it's just so nice to see that. I had one that was similar to that in the 5th grade that I'm a little more familiar with. That I found out you couldn't break an egg in the palm of your hand by squeezing it, no matter how hard you squeeze it, just the shape of it, because your hand will go around the shape of the egg. You cannot break an egg in the palm of your hand.
I beg to differ. I'll bet I probably could if I did that experiment.
I did it outside my window, and it didn't break. So I vow that I found out that her theory did hold true. But I was a little scared at the time.
There were a few displays that were really intriguing. I enjoyed the one with the dinosaurs digging in the sand for bones and things.
Right.
There was one where the student had a heart. They had used, I think, a kit and created the pumping heart. And I saw a lot of kids working with that and watching how the blood would flow through the circulatory system.
Right.
Just a number of things that were really well done.
Thank you. We try to emphasize hands-on displays for the kids so that the students can go through and then actually physically get involved with the display itself. And you're naming a few of those that were very hands-on oriented, that were nice. And there was a number of there was another one that was a roller coaster that someone had developed. One that was really nice at a 4th grade level was someone did a pulley exercise, and I mean it was one all my students still talk about today. That they had a 12-pound ball on the end of this thing, and when you tried to lift it up, most of the kids, even at 5th grade, had a hard time lifting it up. And when you used the pulley, it only weighed 2 pounds, and so it was.
I think I have a snapshot of a little, like a 3-year-old or a 4-year-old pulling the pulley and lifting that ball. I had no idea it was that heavy.
Right.
I didn't try lifting it myself.
It was 12 pounds by itself, and they had a nice little weight, so you could scale on it, so you could tell, tell what the weight was, and it was 2 pounds when you lifted it up, which was just, it was just a real nice. We're real proud of our kids, our students at Garfield. They did a fantastic job once again this year, and just every year, like I said, we continue to get more and more displays, and the more and more students get involved with it.
I think the really most important part of it was that parents were invited to come in the evening and see what their kids had done and see what other students had done and just be a strong supportive unit behind the science fair. And I think that lends itself real well to the kids wanting to be involved and taking part.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we firmly believe in the family night, and we always have a real good turnout. I think you were there that night, and you saw the tremendous turnout we have. It's amazing how many families come down, and families even of students that have graduated and students that have graduated that come back to see the science fair a year in, year out. So.
And I would imagine once you've done this and the students participated, they probably look forward to the next year, thinking already of the next project that they might do.
They sure do. I've already had some students in the 4th grade, coming up to me for next year and tell me the project they have in mind for next year. So it's a tremendous learning experience, and the students get excited about science, and that's what science is all about as far as we're concerned.
So on that note, we'll invite you next year to watch for news about science fairs in your schools. And if they haven't occurred already, we'd like to invite you this year to attend. But make it a point to get out and see what's happening in our schools. And we'd like to thank Mr. Telfer for joining us today.
Thank you.
And we'd encourage you to take a look at science and what's happening. Thanks for being with us.
Okay, thank you.
Joining me in the studio now is Dr. Martha Navarro, Supervisor for Exceptional Children for the Port Huron Area School District. Hello, Dr. Navarro. Welcome to our show.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I understand that you have a real big undertaking coming up in the Port Huron Area School District starting in the month of April, and I happen to know that it's called Kindergarten Roundup, and it sounds like an undertaking with 13 elementary schools. Why don't you tell us about what happens at Kindergarten Roundup?
I'd be happy to. Kindergarten Roundup is a very special time for our children in our school district. And basically, it is a kindergarten roundup. We round the children up, those children that are age appropriate to go to kindergarten. In order to be age appropriate for kindergarten, you have to be 5 years of age on or before December 1st of the upcoming school year. And what we like to do is to invite the children in and have them go through a number of different stations which will allow us to gather information regarding the child. If you'd like me to, I'd cover the stations.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. The first station would be the registration station, and at that station the parents would bring in information that they would provide to a volunteer, and that information would include their place of residence. They need to show proof of residence, and they could do that by bringing in a driver's license and another piece of information such as a rent receipt or utility bill showing that they live at that residence. And they also would fill out an enrollment form at that station, and they would also indicate any special transportation that they would need. For example, many of our children attend a babysitter's, and so their transportation that they would need to have set up would include the babysitter's address, so that all that can be included. That's one station. And another station would be a photography station. And what we like to do is to have a picture of every child that would come to kindergarten. Oftentimes on that first few days, sometimes the children are shy and they won't tell you their name, but if you've got their picture, you can figure it out. So we like a picture of every child, and we hope that the parent would bring in a picture, because it is pretty costly for the school district to take a picture of each child. So we have the photo station, and then we have a fingerprinting station, and the fingerprinting is strictly optional. Some parents have concerns about that, so it's strictly up to the parents. The volunteers are trained by our sheriff's department so that they can take the fingerprints, and the children seem to enjoy it, so that's another station that we offer. Another and the most important station is the teacher station, and this is what I think that Kindergarten Roundup is all about. The children are brought in groups of 6 or 7 at a time, and the teachers will probably bring them away from the congested Roundup area and into another room in the building, and they will have certain activities that they've developed for the children, and that might include some peg work or some puzzles. The teacher might read a story to the child. The teacher might have a little snack and have the children talk during their little socialization period. The teacher might read a story to the child and listen to see how well the child is able to comprehend some of the things that are discussed in the story. The teacher might have a record with directions that the children would have to follow. Maybe it would include some gross motor activities like marching or skipping or jumping. And basically the activities are designed in such a way that the teacher is able to gather information about the child so that she can adjust the curriculum during the summer to meet the needs of all the children that come through Roundup.
But it sounds to me like it does another thing too, and it breaks the ice for that child interacting with the teacher.
Absolutely.
So that first fearful day of kindergarten is already gone. And
Absolutely.
It wasn't so fearful after all.
You hit it right on the head, because that's exactly what we want to do. We want to make that first experience a real warm and friendly one, so that that first day isn't traumatic for the child.
Now, how do parents get an appointment? I know there are a number of days that are scheduled, and we'll show that schedule while we're talking, but are there appointment times that parents need to set?
Yes. Roundup starts April 1st at Sparlingville Elementary School, and every building has their own Roundup. The last Roundup is May 15th at Lakeport Elementary School. And so we ask parents, and we do a lot of advertising, we ask parents to call their school and give them their child's name and address, phone number, and then they will be sent a letter indicating their Roundup appointment date and their appointment time.
Okay. I think the schedule was also published in the most recent Our Schools that went out to every home.
Yes.
So if people didn't get a copy of that, they could contact my office, and we'll try to send that out to them again.
And typically, maybe 20–25% of the families do not show up. And this is something that we're really trying to correct this year especially. And we have an incentive program this year. And for all the children that come to enroll in kindergarten during the spring roundup, we have a t-shirt, and I'd like to show it to you if I could.
Okay, great.
This is the school t-shirt, and every building has their own school t-shirt.
Right.
I happen to bring Harrison School. And every child will get the t-shirt, and it's the project is sponsored by Citizens First Savings Bank in Port Huron. They've been very generous with their support of this project, and also Meyer Store.
Right.
And so this is particularly nice because every Wednesday in the building is School Spirit Day,
Right.
and the kids wear their t-shirts. So it'll be nice to have everybody have one. And what's really nice about having everybody come is that the planning is so much easier. You can imagine if a fourth,
if you waited until fall,
right,
it would be
and
very difficult.
right.
Speaking of which, then going to the fall, what can parents do to help their children get ready for the actual beginning of kindergarten once they've had them rounded up?
That's a very important question, and we spend a lot of time trying to alleviate some of the fears that the parents have regarding their child's readiness for kindergarten. And the Port Huron Area School District, along with the Michigan Department of Education and the Michigan Association for the Education of Young Children, and that organization is the largest, most popular early childhood organization in the state, support the idea of sending children to school when they're age appropriate. So where does the readiness question come in? In the past, parents have asked, is their child ready for school? And now we're saying that if they're age appropriate, they are ready for school because we get ready for them. So it's a change in focus. We get ready for the children. And we have spent a lot of time, a lot of effort, and a lot of money in professional development in training our teachers to be ready for the young children. We have developmentally appropriate practices in our program, and the activities are very open-ended so that the higher functioning, more advanced, older child is challenged, and yet the younger, perhaps delayed child is also can be successful in school.
Are there any items in particular, though, that parents can work on over the summer to help their children, like tying their shoes or?
I would say that the most important activities that you can spend with your child is encouraging those self-help skills like, you know, tying their shoes. And not everybody has that skill.
Zipping their
certainly.
jacket and buttoning their shirt or whatever if they're
Absolutely.
doing painting or whatever.
That's right.
And Velcro has made things a lot easier.
For everybody.
For everyone, yeah.
But spending time with their children is really critical, and
And the socializing, because
That's
they
right.
have to interact with other children.
that's right, that's right. And so there's always community activities that parents can take advantage of. I know that the St. Clair County Library offers a wonderful programs for kids, and the YMCA offers lots of summer programs. The Port Huron City Recreation Department offers playground activities. So any kind of activity that you involve your child in for the socialization is important.
That's good. I noticed you're wearing a little ribbon on your jacket. I don't know if our home audience can see that, but we had talked about that. Would you like to explain what that's for?
Yes, I'm wearing a purple ribbon because April is the month of the young child, and that is a state initiative brought on by about 30 different private and public early childhood organizations. We're really trying to get the message across that children are important. They are so very important. And there's so much that we know now about children, you know, even that we've gathered in the last 3 years that we did not know before. And the importance of that early childhood intervention is so critical to their development and their success in school and in life, that we're really trying to make people aware of how much can be done and how much needs to be done in that area.
And of course, the ribbon campaigns are associated with many, many agencies and concerns, so it's immediately identified that there's something there that's representing. Are you open to taking phone calls from people if they have any other questions that have not been answered?
Sure.
Okay.
My office is at the administration building. Phone number 984-3101, and
We
we'd
know
be
it
happy
well.
to answer any questions that they
Okay,
have.
great. Well, thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank
And
you.
if you have any questions about Kindergarten Roundup, which begins 1st of April and runs through May 15th, make sure you check with the schools in your area, check Our Schools, the mailing that came to your home, to see what the calendar is, or check with CPHS 6, the Community Bulletin Board. Those dates will also be published here. Good luck with getting your children rounded up and getting them in kindergarten this fall. And again, if you have any questions, please feel free to call Dr. Martha Navarro. Thanks again for being with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Well, that's our show for today. We hope you learned something about bicycle safety and Kindergarten Roundup, and we hope you could answer those questions about the Port Huron Area School District. If you have any questions about information on today's show, feel free to call me, Ken Kraft, at 984-3101, extension 281, at the district offices. Thanks for being with us, and tune in next time for Our Schools Monthly.